Welcome to the Lunatics of Metal. I'm your host, JT. And with me, as always,
Jimmy.
Are these guys. What's up, gentlemen? Who walked in?
Oh, you know, metal.
Metal.
Been watching a lot of Three Stooges lately.
It's a fistful of metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was watching some
you're
Three
18.
Stooges. I'm 18. And I like it.
Mm-hmm. You love it. You want some more of it.
I was watching some Three Stooges the other day. I like me some Stooges.
You know, I work at a school.
Who doesn't?
Sometimes they'll have times where we put on like funny animal videos or something or whatever, and I put on some Three Stooges the other day.
Nice.
Three Stooges.
He really liked it. He was cracking up. I was like, "It's hilarious."
That's cool. That's cool. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, what's up, everybody? Tonight, we are talking about the band Death. And specifically, or pacifically, as people like to say, we're talking about the album Symbolic.
For those of you playing
That
along
one
at
right
home,
there. Look at that. That's vinyl. That's even some vinyl.
that's vinyl with shiny plastic on it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
This
a
is
big glare.
a reissue that came out a couple of years ago. I bought.
What is that?
Oh, nice. It's got the extra
album.
It's got
that
the
album
extra
5?
instrumental stuff on it.
What do you mean?
So
I thought that was on Perseverance.
No, there's a. Is it?
There's only the regular tracks on here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, vinyl, you're going to have less of a chance of extra stuff like that unless it's got another.
No. In 2008, there was a remaster of Symbolic that came with 5 tracks that were all instrumental demos of. It was Symbolic Acts, which we all know the song is now called Symbolic. Zero Tolerance,
Yeah.
Crystal Mountain, Misanthrope. And then there was another demo. It was like a 4-track demo of Symbolic Acts with vocals.
Right. Yeah. The reissue I have just came out a couple of years ago, maybe or something.
Oh, I gotcha.
And, this is an OG CD, but that's a recent reissue. But yeah, I don't know about the other reissue.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have the old school. I don't have the reissue, but that's all right because we like the old school. Let me get a scroll back over here. So, most of the people that are watching this show or listening to this show, the 2 or 3 that are out there, you should know.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, no kidding. You should know this band. This band really needs no introduction. Death is widely known as the grandfathers of death metal. And this particular album, get off my lawn. This album in particular is considered by most to be one of the greatest death metal albums of all time. And possibly one of the best death albums. You can argue that if you want, but
Right.
But keep that shit to yourself. No.
Closer.
Just kidding. So, let's get into the band here. Death was an American death metal band formed in Altamont Springs, Florida in 1983 by guitarist Chuck Schuldiner, who later became the band's sole vocalist.
Yes.
Yes.
That is accurate.
drummer Cam Lee and guitarist Rick Ross formed out of what would become the Florida death metal scene. Death is considered a pioneering band in death metal. The band's 1987 debut album, Scream Bloody Gore, has been widely regarded as one of the first death metal records, alongside the first record from Possessed, which was Seven Churches.
Seven Churches. I still think it's more thrash. Like, a lot of people think that's
Scream Bloody Gore?
No,
Possessed.
Seven Churches.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more thrash.
The vocals to me more.
You could go
death.
either way with
vocals
that.
are more death, but
But to me, death metal. I mean, minus blast beats, death metal and thrash are very similar.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
the vocal approach. I always thought that was different.
And the speed of it.
Well, I mean, thrash is called speed metal.
Well,
there's a difference.
I got a bunch of sirens going off here. So you guys may pick these up on the microphone here, but there they went.
SWAT team's coming to get you.
Yeah. You know, you've got the speed aspect of it, but like with death metal, it's more like a lot of minor chords and darker, phrasing with the music.
Which thrash to me, for the most part, has always used minor keys also.
Right. But not to the point
there's a few exceptions.
Yeah.
Death metal definitely has more of an evil sound.
Right.
Well, minor is the evil sound, is what I've always equated it to. That's why you see bands like Maiden that stay in minor almost every song.
I look at it like thrash is kind of more of an aggressive
Slayer too
feel, and death metal is more of an evil,
like a
dark.
I don't want to say doom,
it's like
but
thrash. It's like kind of like thrash, but with an evil or
But then
darker.
you'll have a band like Judas Priest who they'll do some minor, but they don't shy away from going major.
Right.
And for those of you at home who aren't musicians, who don't understand what that means, it's basically just a slight difference in the scale that makes it feel completely different.
Yeah, it's either a major or a minor scale.
Yeah, I mean, there's others out there, but that's like your Coke and Pepsi for what's being used.
Pepsi Challenge.
Yes.
Put
a little sugar in it.
So, the early history claims that Death was founded in either 1983 or 1984 by Chuck Schuldiner under the original name of Mantis in Altamont Springs, Florida. Death was among the more widely known early pioneers of the death metal sound, along with California's Possessed. Inspired by Nasty Savage, Death was among the first bands in the Florida death metal scene. So they kind of paved the way for that Florida death metal.
Right.
There's a lot of those OG ones that basically moved down there later.
Right.
They also, there was a Morbid Angel demo that was, back in those days too. That was,
right. There was, it's really weird to think about Florida as being the death metal capital, But there's a lot of death metal.
They didn't have a death metal scene down there.
Right.
They didn't.
Right.
It wasn't a scene. It was just a bunch of bands were from there.
Right.
The pioneers of death metal. A lot of them were just from there.
A lot of the stuff that I was watching about Death is him traveling a lot. I mean he recorded all these demos and stuff. What was interesting about Chuck is Chuck was a phenomenal musician, and he knew exactly what he wanted. He wrote everything. He never truly wanted to be the singer, but it just worked out that way.
Right.
And then he kind of regretted it, later on, like right before Death ended.
Yeah, he was going in a different direction. He didn't want to do death metal anymore.
Right.
I don't think he minded musically where he was at. I think it's vocals that really bugged
he
him.
wanted to be more of a power. And then you look at even the album we're talking about. I mean, he added a lot of power metal feel to that, like in the musicianship. And
And at the end, he had his other band, Control Denied, which essentially was like death with power metal vocals.
Right.
Yeah, and also Sounds of Perseverance was supposed to be, that was really, he wanted it to be Control Denied, but they were under contract, and
right.
So that wanted the death on that title, but he wanted to go Control Denied. That was supposed to be Control Denied.
He was trying to get them to record that, the label, and they were willing to do it, but they wanted another Death album. So in fact, I think 5 of the songs on that album were actually Control Denied songs that he redid.
I was just listening to an interview with him from '98 where they were talking specifically about this. And he asked him, he goes, "Why did you leave Roadrunner and go to Nuclear Blast?" He goes, I'd never go back to Roadrunner. He said, they don't know what they're doing with metal, which to me, I found kind of odd hearing that that's pretty much all they dealt with. But
right.
He said that's the reason why they put Sound of Perseverance out on Nuclear Blast.
Huh. So originally,
I don't know if he was talking just U.S. or if he was doing worldwide.
Yeah, one of the documentaries I was watching, they were talking about Symbolic was actually supposed to be the last Death album. He didn't want to do anymore.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
Well, in that interview also, he was saying that he wants to continue to do both full steam ahead, but that he actually wants to do a little bit more Control Denied just because of the vocals.
Right.
And he had a whole nother record written that wasn't even put out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy when you look back at his life and what he did. He started Mantis when he was 16 years old, and by the time he was almost out of high school when he started Death, and was picked up by, was it Combat? Was Combat the first label that they were on?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Maybe.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
getting picked up by a record label, right when you get out of high school?
Too, I believe.
Huh?
Didn't he drop out of high school or no?
No, I don't think so. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Have you ever seen? Have you seen the documentary Death by Metal?
Yes. In fact, I just watched it today.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
That was on Combat.
There's another really good one. It was just all about Chuck. It's Into the Void.
A couple different ones.
Yeah, it was on Hulu.
I think I've seen that one before.
It was called Into the Void, and it was all about Chuck and his life. But
yeah, that's that program I was telling you guys about that just came out like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Hulu. You watch Hulu or YouTube? Jim?
I watch a little bit of
you
both.
like YouTube or Hulu?
You did that?
The interesting thing about Death is the number of changes, member changes. Of course, Chuck was the only constant. Because it was his band, it was his vision, his dream.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy asked him about that very question. And he got all butthurt about it when he was answering it. Well, I do stuff every 3 years, and I can't expect those guys to wait on me. I've got so many other projects going, and it was kind of like, okay, dude.
They say a lot of people say he was kind of difficult to deal with. He was, he wasn't the easiest person to deal with, but he had a vision, and he was a pioneer for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And Gene Hoglan was talking on another interview I watched where he was saying, musically, he said there was no problems working with. He was great to work with.
Yeah.
But notice he said musically.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he was hard to deal with.
Yeah. Apparently he was a nightmare on the road. And in fact, he would.
Documentary.
He would.
Kind of comes off as a prima donna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really did. But they
that was
said
my take
that
on everyone's
he would
perspective.
He would just walk out. He would just quit a tour. They'd be in the middle of a tour, and he'd be like, "I'm quitting. I'm going home."
especially the European ones. It's like he didn't want to leave North America.
Right.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Well, you've seen the documentary. If anybody's seen it, it was a nightmare.
Oh, it's not just one. It's pretty much every one recently.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, those two, that Death by Metal, was really good, really good. It'll give you a lot of info about. What I liked about that one was how they went into every album and like what the things that happened in between the records and stuff and what he did. The one that's about his life is more about him. They get more into him growing up and his parents and his sisters, his sister and his brother dying at an early age, and then of course he passed away at an early age.
Two of her sons.
Yeah.
And the saddest part to me about that is, okay, the older brother was, I think it was a car accident, if I remember correctly.
No, he was shot.
The second one, was it shot?
Yeah,
regardless, it wasn't something that you could have thought was going to happen.
Right.
Chuck,
him and some friends
were
had found a gun and were playing with it, and he got shot in the head.
God damn. Think about that poor mother, man. She lost her two boys. Like, wow.
And Chuck's cancer that ultimately took his life was a childhood cancer that should have been taken care of years before, but they didn't know it was there.
Right. Right. He didn't find out about it until he started, like, his hands. He couldn't control his hands and stuff. And you think about, how great of a guitar player he was.
I can't control it.
And to lose control of your hands, I mean, that's...
And your nipples.
That's a sad deal.
Yeah.
And your hairy nipples.
Guitar player.
Yes. Harry has nipples.
Yeah. It's it's a bad deal, man. Bad deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was rewatching a little bit of that today, and I was thinking, man, that poor mother. Fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the father too.
But anyway,
anywho, yeah, not to.
I mean, there's no way to not be morbid about it. It is what it is.
Right.
angel about it.
But
I mean, he wasn't.
He left his mark at the very least.
So for me, death was always around. Like, I remember my buddy Steve. He got Scream Bloody Gore like right after it came out, and he listened to it quite a bit, and I listened to some of it too. But I just didn't really get into it until I got older. I started getting into them more, like Individual Thought Patterns, and then when Symbolic came out, that's when they really hit me hard. And then I went back, and started listening to some of the older ones. I had heard a lot of it through the years because, Steve and I had been together, as band members for years. We grew up together. We went to high school together. So, I mean, I was always around it, but I really didn't get into them until, like I said, Individual Thought Patterns and then this album, Symbolic. For me, Symbolic was a big influence on a lot of my playing, the music that we were writing. At the time, I was in a death metal band, and I wrote a lot of the lyrics for our songs. Steve was the primary guitar, music writer. He wrote a lot of lyrics too. I'm not going to say that I wrote them all. I didn't, but I wrote a few songs, and it was weird. A lot of my influence came from this album. I listened to it a lot. And
he said he wrote about real life.
Yeah, a lot of his inner things, like inner.
And this album just hit me really hard, This
so
is going to be
a similar experience with the band Death, really, because my first time ever hearing Death vocals, because me and Jim were into thrash and all the obscure bands and all that, and we had heard Pantera by then, and then I remember, was it like Jamie Pfluger or somebody?
He let me borrow some of the tapes.
The first
time.
Death metal
Spiritual Healing.
Was Spiritual Healing, and then Vengeance Rising. Yeah, and Leprosy in the but Vengeance Rising also, which was a Christian death thrash band or whatever.
Gotcha.
And so that was the first
Killer
time.
record.
Huh?
I said killer record.
Yeah. But anyway, it was the first time I ever heard like death metal vocals, you know, or whatever. But it was only a couple songs, and then I didn't get into death metal till like 91, especially 92, 91, 92.
Yeah.
Where I really started getting into all the death metal bands. And then I still wasn't into death a lot because I had heard them before, but I was, you know, Carcass and Napalm Death and Morbid Angel and Obituary and Entombed and all these different bands I was discovering. And then it wasn't until actually 93 I went and seen Death with Gorefest and Sacrifice and Animated Dead from St. Louis at Club 367. And I had gotten Individual Thought Patterns before that.
Right.
And then I seen them on that tour. Then I became a huge fan of them. But then I seen them also on the Symbolic tour. And by the time Symbolic came out, I got it the first day it was out, and I was a huge fan. I already had all their back catalog.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't until really Individual Thought Patterns until I really got into them full force as well.
You know, and it's funny for me.
Symbolic was a huge album because like we had our band Lunatic. You weren't in the band at that point.
Right.
You were in Fatality at the point.
Right.
And but drum wise, like Gene Hoglan became like my favorite drummer, and he still is to this day.
Yeah.
And the Symbolic album came out in 95. We recorded Uncontrollable Hatred in 96. And when I heard Symbolic, dude, to this day, Symbolic is still my favorite drum recording ever. Like skill-wise, creativity-wise, I adore the drums on this album. It's just a complete drum masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think Gene Hoglan he's my favorite drummer.
Totally agree.
And this is probably my favorite drum recording ever. And this was hugely influential on me at the time. We were, I was not, I was like 20 when we recorded Uncontrollable Hatred, going on 21. And it was a huge influence on me. Even though,
it wasn't
equipment-wise and our recording-wise, you can't really hear a lot of the little accents I did. But I do a lot of accents, and it's a lot of shit I was influenced by Gene Hoglan tremendously at that point.
Wasn't he the one that inspired you to put a second hi-hat?
Second hi-hat over there, and I still wanted the second ride because when I seen them, he had the two hi-hats and the two rides, and I was like, wow.
He had like a symmetrical kit, if I remember correctly.
He's a big guy anyway. He set up tall. His drums were low and flat. He had the two rides and two hi-hats.
But they weren't the exact same. So you had a slight different timbre, and it was really cool sounding.
By the time I seen them in 95 on the Symbolic tour, I was a huge fan of Death. Symbolic was a huge influence on me. And I remember, was you at that show?
Which one?
The Symbolic tour. Did you ever see Death?
I have not seen them live.
Okay, so I seen them on Individual Thought Patterns, but this was Symbolic. Like I said, by then I was huge into them. And I just remember, of course, Gene was with them at that time too. I just remember Chuck coming out. Looked like he had like a tank top on and like these cargo shorts and flip-flops, Looked like he just fell asleep on the beach or something.
Yeah.
And woke up and was like, oh, cool. And he was kind of put his hair behind, looking at his pedal board, messing with it. Just looked like he woke up from a nap and he's dicking with the pedal board for a little while. Then all of a sudden, boom, they kick into spiritual healing and just proceeded to just destroy the fucking place. It was so amazing. And then by then Hoglan was my hero and Hogan's Heroes.
Hoglan's Heroes.
Hoglan's Heroes.
But he was, he sat up high. He had them two hi-hats and two rides. He did all them little accents, and it was just so jazzy kind of. And it was just a huge influence. And it made a huge impression on me. And Death, Hoglan, album,
by the way,
in general, just was huge for me.
If you want to see that live, there is a DVD from that tour at the Whiskey.
I thought you meant the 367 show.
No, at the Whiskey.
If that's the case, I'm up.
And our friend Manuel was there.
I was going to say, if it was the 367 one, I would have been
cool.
like one of the...
Oh, I'd have bought it too.
No, I would have been like one of the stars in it because I was like out there moshing, losing my mind the whole fucking time. I was just like, because it was perfect.
Perfect.
Such a great show. So I'm lucky enough to see Death twice and see him both times with Hoglan too.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
that's fucking cool.
fuck, I'm so lucky.
And
I
Hoagland was
personally,
talking also,
I never got to see him. So
me either. Hoagland was talking that at the time that there was a big beef going on between Dark Angel and Death.
Yeah, when they were on that Ultimate Revenge tour, there was a little tension there, and so he was a little hesitant when Chuck got a hold of him about Death. He's kind of like, well, we kind of had but it kind of just
Yeah.
whatever.
He said it just kind of floated away, I guess.
Yeah.
Chuck wasn't a bad guy. He was just a little difficult to deal with, but he was a good person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He kind of reminds me of, the best way I could say it is he's the Dave Mustaine of death metal.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
He's got the chops. He did the vocals.
If he was still alive, oh my God, there's no telling where he'd be right
what
now.
he would have done for metal.
I think he might have actually moved away from the extreme stuff and probably gone
for
more.
Sure.
Right.
He was on his way.
I think he would have been more accept, if you know what I mean.
He didn't want to, from what I've seen in interviews, he didn't want to do death metal anymore. But I think maybe
He also hated labels.
But do you also wonder if 30 years later would he have gotten the urge to do another death album? I think
Right.
maybe that's possible, but we will
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's about 15 records already written that we'll hear.
He died too fucking young.
Yeah.
Way too fucking young.
Absolutely.
And then there was the cancer benefit, Thrash of the Titans, that was
Yeah,
supposed
for
to
the
help him
Chucks.
out
For the Chucks.
for both Chucks that had
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was for Chuck Schuldiner back then.
Oh,
thought
I
It was
did.
just Chuck Billy, and then later on I found out it was for both Chucks. I was like, oh, wow. A Chuck benefit.
Yeah, we had Chuck and Stereo
Chucks.
needing help.
double check.
Uncle Chuck. What the fuck?
What's up, Chuck?
Better than but fucking ducks. Can't you see?
Can't you see
Wow, we went off the
see.
rails there.
what Chuck's doing with death metal for
But yeah,
thee?
so anyway, that's
Death,
my
Death certainly turned me on to one of my favorite bass players,
DiGiorgio.
DiGiorgio. Absolutely.
Which, he was on the first Autopsy album. Of course, he was in
Yeah.
Sadist. He's been in Testament. He is such
Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the last
He's-
Megadeth
he's-
record.
He's played with everybody.
Yeah. He's a death metal legend.
Yeah.
Or a metal legend.
Absolutely.
bass player. He's just one of the...
Absolutely.
Yeah. What was it on Individual Thought Patterns? He played a fretless. Like, that was so fun. I never
Yeah,
heard
he
that in
yeah,
death
he
metal, for
started
sure.
Yeah, he started playing a fretless I guess during that out cuz he was on Human too.
I think he only
And-
played it on that one album. I
And
think maybe
Individual
the
Thought
early
Patterns
stuff-
was the last Death album he was on.
He was supposed to be on Symbolic, but the schedules,
Yeah.
whatever, that it didn't work.
He was
out.
in demand, let's put it that
He
way.
was, and so he couldn't dedicate himself to the But yeah, man.
So for this album, they ended up
What a great
getting
band.
Kelly
This-
Conlon.
Yeah. This record was the one that really cemented me as being a big Death fan, because I had heard them prior to this, but I don't know, the vocals I think were a little bit more than I wanted to process at that point in life.
Yeah.
And eventually I grew to where I liked it, and it was kind of acquired taste for a lot
And
of
then
people.
in
Even to
this
this day.
album, his vocals weren't as harsh as they typically were.
Yeah, he just
I think
progressed.
It was different, but I
absolutely.
prefer his vocals on like Leprosy and Spiritual Healing better.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I like those vocals better. Actually, Symbolic, as much as I love it, his vocals are the one part that I wish they were more like the old vocal style.
Yeah.
But
Well,
music
more aggressive and
it's
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. And like I said, drum wise,
yeah.
that's what puts this album so high for me.
Yeah.
I love all
Absolutely.
Death albums. I think all their albums are fucking fantastic. This is maybe not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite.
Yeah. So for
And
me,
like I said, the vocals is my least favorite part of this album.
this album for me is my favorite Death album, and I knew I was going to have a problem with this whenever I suggested it. I'm going to have problems picking favorite songs off this album because
Yeah,
I
I
fucking
get that.
They're all
this is
solid.
this is one of those albums that I love every fucking song on it. You know.
Oh yeah,
Every song has got a hook. Every song is catchy. You know, every song's got a lyric that means something to me. You know,
right.
because I guess because I just listen to it so much, it's embedded in my DNA. You know,
This lived in
It's
my
weird.
tape deck in my old Cougar
yeah,
back in '95. Dude, this was, like I said, it was a huge influence on when we were writing Uncontrollable Hatred, and I was soaking up,
yeah,
it was a huge influence on me on so many levels. And this used to be my favorite for a long time.
Right.
Just over the years, it's still there. It's one of my 3 favorites are Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, and this album, Symbolic. But
Yeah.
and they're all. I might pick Spiritual Healing. Maybe is my favorite, but they're all. It's like splitting
Right.
hairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, all
Now-
their albums are great for different reasons.
Murphy was on Spiritual, right?
Murphy was on Spiritual.
That's
Healing.
what I thought.
Yes.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Wasn't
And then
George on Human too?
He might have been. Let me look it up.
was it
Or maybe no.
Andy LaRocque was on Human
He was on Individual Thought.
or Individual Thought Patterns? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah. But Sean Reinhart was on Human, and he, we talk about Gene Hoglan, but Sean Reinhart on Human was he was a pioneer. He was a huge influence, very
Right.
influential. That album was very influential. Even on Hoglan, he talks about it. That album influenced him,
Right.
and then ironically, he was on the next 2 albums by Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, people forget about Reinhardt, man, Cynic and all that. I mean, he was
Well, he
fucking
completely,
fantastic.
style-wise, changed the way
Yes.
Death felt.
Yes, he did shit that no death metal drummers ever did at that point. He was adding little jazzy shit, and
Yeah.
man, it just
And they
brought that shit.
were talking. It was funny. I was watching DiGiorgio was talking about him, and he was talking about DiGiorgio, and he said that I had never played with a death metal bass player quite like DiGiorgio. He said we just clicked so well, during our recordings. He said it was insane. It was like we were the same person. And he said,
The Rock's an individual.
unfortunately, a lot of it got lost in recording. It got, squashed out or whatever. But he said there's some really special stuff in there.
Dude, their whole catalog, like every
Yeah.
album is special in its own way. In my opinion, I just love every album by them.
Yeah, I don't know that
And, like,
Death
even
has
my
ever
least
put out a
favorites
bad album.
Are awesome. No,
Yeah.
they haven't. All 7 of them are fucking. Like my least favorites are probably Sounds of Perseverance and maybe Scream Bloody Gore. But
Yeah.
I fucking love those albums.
Right.
I was going to say Sounds of Perseverance is probably my next favorite after this
It's
one.
probably my least favorite, but I love it.
See, and that's how
Sonically,
I
even
am.
if-
They
That's
don't have
probably
any
my
bad
least
albums.
favorite, too.
But it's great. It's
mean-
still awesome. Like that's the thing about this band. Like
Yeah.
my least favorite is still a fucking.
It's still an
fantastic album.
awesome album. Yeah.
They're fucking fantastic, man.
It's funny, though, because they recorded at the same place from Symbolic to Perseverance.
Yeah.
And the only thing that stayed the
at
same
Moore
was
Sound
Chuck.
Studios.
Yeah.
So that shows you how different that those records sound, even being recorded at the same place, because it's different people.
And it's pretty cool when you get a guy like Jim Morris doing
was
your
nobody before that.
production and engineering, And they interviewed him a lot, and he said he absolutely he didn't know how to take them when he first started working with them. But he said once him and Chuck really sat down and started talking, and he saw Chuck's vision. He said once they started recording, he said that was it. He goes, I was hooked, and him and Chuck were extremely close.
Are you talking about Scott Burns?
No, Jim Morris from Moore Sound Studios.
Jim Morris is the one who owned Morris
Okay.
Sound.
Yeah. But Scott Burns is the one that did a lot of the there's been a lot of interviews on Scott Burns. I don't know if you've like Heavy Metal Urges, like probably my favorite YouTube channel. I love that channel. They do a interview with him, and then Reaper Metal or whatever it's called. They do. There's been several where I've seen Scott Burns, and man, he's so important to death metal.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was so integral in death metal in the evolution, the birth of death metal. Really, I mean, he was so important to death metal.
Well, you had a world-class recording studio that was willing to take on these young, broke, upstart, heathen metal kids.
Right, but there was also the fact that
And there was a scene
people
around
didn't
it.
really know how to record that kind of music at this point because it was so fast and intricate in the double bass and mainly the drums, like it's so fast and intricate. And he did a lot of the trigger sampling kind of recording. Like he figured out how to make a fucking death metal record sound great where you could hear all the little definition and shit. Before that, there wasn't. It was kind of like thrash, like they were kind of figuring out. He took
Thrash was doing that in the late 80s.
yeah, but then he kind of took death metal because it was even harder to because it was even faster, and he took that and recorded it where you could hear the clarity, and he was so important to death metal, man.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot of them early fucking shit that wasn't recorded there, and it's like hard to really, like the first Autopsy, I love it, but it's you know, distorts your speakers, the bass is all blah, 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 you know, but then you look at a Morris Sound one and it's like, wow. They were so integral. You know,
Morris Sound also had a world-class recording console in it, which back then
they
was
had people that knew how to like basically tighten everything up where you could hear the definition.
true, but also back then the equipment that you were using mattered just as much as the people using it, unlike today.
Right.
And when you got, you know, $1 million board in there, it's harder to make it sound bad than it is to make it sound
but then
good.
You got somebody like Scott Burns though that they hear the kind of music and they understand what they're trying to do, and he tightens that up where you can hear all the little intricacies,
which is in part due to them having the gear.
Right, I understand that.
Because I've heard
the vision of it too.
But you heard him do Sepultura down in Brazil, and it doesn't sound anywhere near as tight as the stuff he did in Florida.
Yeah, but it's still better.
Because they didn't have the equipment down there.
Schizophrenia to Beneath the Remains, man, that was a huge jump in production.
It was, but at the same time, they also worked two different studios back then, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But they still didn't have the money in Brazil that they did in the United States on a lot of these recording places.
Yeah.
It's just the way things were.
Yeah. But anyway, he was very important to
Absolutely.
to death metal.
Absolutely.
And in this record here in particular, the owner did it. So, I mean, he spent a lot of time in his own studio doing this stuff.
I mean, that is why you had like Cannibal Corpse and Malevolent Creation relocate to Florida, to Tampa. You know what I mean?
Right.
People relocated to that area just because of that studio.
Then you had Obituary, Deicide,
Morbid Angel.
you know, I mean, there was like, you had a murderer's row of death metal bands all within like a few zip codes.
Cynic, you know, Atheist, all the, you know, Solstice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Massacre, all them bands. Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffet.
Jimmy Crack Corn.
I don't care.
Corn and he don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jim Baker. What?
Miracle Man.
No, if
So,
we were going to talk about them, then we'd be talking about spiritual healing.
Yeah, no shit.
That's more what that album was about.
And I used to love their artwork that they had too.
Oh yeah, man.
Even if I didn't necessarily know the record back then, I remembered that artwork
Yeah.
until I heard the stuff later.
Like Leprosy, that's like iconic. Like
Yeah.
I remember seeing that before I even knew what it was, and then now that's like you see that it's just iconic.
Right. Well, Scream Bloody Gore is the same way. You know.
Yeah, really, the first three album
Yeah.
covers are iconic.
And I've heard them say on Scream Bloody Gore that whole album was pretty much recorded with old PV gear,
Yeah,
which, you know, was around everywhere back in the 80s.
Yeah.
and DiGiorgio was almost on that album.
That's crazy.
Missed it by that much.
So,
Anyway, yeah.
Symbolic
Basically,
has received
Death Rules.
widespread critical acclaim and is regarded by many as being Death's greatest album and as being one of the greatest death metal albums of all time. Whew. In
I'd have to agree.
In a contemporary review, Select stated that there's still lashings of grisly, growling vocals and head in the groin thrashing to be had. What the hell? I don't even know what the hell I just read there.
That sounds like somebody who doesn't know the heavy metal music
Yeah.
writing about heavy metal music.
So, blabbermouth.net gave Symbolic a 10 out of 10. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal gave it an 8 out of 10. Metal.de gave it a 10 out of 10. Pitchfork gave it a 9.1 out of 10. And All Music gave it 3 out of 5 stars because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They can't even go to 10 stars.
Jesus.
These go to 11.
One louder. Well, speaking of stars, what do you got there, Mr.
Well, first
T?
of all, what are your? If you had to pick 3 of your favorite songs before you rate this album, what's your 3 favorite songs?
Fuck. I told you, man. That's gonna be fucking impossible.
It really doesn't matter. They're all good. I have my 3 favorites.
Okay, so
there's a couple that almost.
So I'm gonna go right off the bat. Crystal Mountain is probably my favorite song on the whole album. And then I'm probably gonna go Symbolic and Zero Tolerance, but Without Judgment is way up there. 1,000 Eyes is right there. Misanthrope. They're all fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Every song on this album is phenomenal.
It's a good record.
This is going to be my 10. To me, this is a 10 out of 10.
All right. I'm going to go next, but it's kind of funny because my 3 favorite songs are Symbolic, Zero Tolerance, and Crystal Mountain. Exactly like yours, Gerald.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, like Without Judgment and Misanthrope were like, they were battling for that 3rd spot.
These songs are
I'm
so
gonna go
catchy.
Symbolic, Zero Tolerance, and Crystal Mountain. Yeah.
They're so catchy.
I'm gonna go 9.5. I'm the 0.5 guy. Fuck you guys. Fuck off, you pricks.
He just has to be different.
Fuck
Do
yeah.
it. Do it.
You
I
fucking
like it.
boot-licking pricks. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
like it. Your penis isn't 9 inches long. It's 9.5.
9.5.
9.5, mother
0.5.
fornicator.
Yeah, it's only 9.5 centimeters.
Hey, what do you think, Jimmy? What do you think, Jimmy Crapcorn?
I don't care.
He's a grower, not a shower.
That's his own Crystal Mountain.
Hey, don't cut yourself.
Hey, leave him without judgment.
I was going to say that. I was going to use Without Judgment.
These are all empty words anyway.
All right, it's symbolic of.
It's your penile
I've got to go
quest.
Crystal Mountain, Perennial Quest, and probably Symbolic. I mean, these could change from day to day.
Yeah.
But
So we all picked Symbolic and Crystal Mountain. So that's.
Yeah.
Perennial Quest is just
They're all great.
Killer.
Though. Like you guys are saying, there's no bad track on this motherfucker.
I just
No,
remember
there's
when
not.
we were younger here and, she parted. And we all used to go, she farted.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, that was like the running joke.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we're mature at 50.
Yes. Yes.
Are you 51, aren't you?
I'm in my second
Yes.
I'm
childhood.
getting ready to turn 51 this summer.
As far as rating this, I'm going to have to give this one a 10.5.
Wow.
These go.
10.5 out of 10. That motherfucker's on off
It's
the
a 1 to
scale.
10,
This one goes to 11.
but 0.9 would still be also a 10.
These go to 11. So it's still not a perfect album.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to do a 10.9.
Just go 11.
No.
A Spinal Tap 11.
I do not have a cucumber wrapped in tinfoil in my pants when I go through the airport, sir.
This album, I put it in. I put it in for my homework this week, and it was like, oh, yeah, Symbolic, dude. Yeah, I remember that. Let's see, what's the next song? Oh, wait, I can't skip this. You're just kind of into it, and then you know in your head
coworkers
the next
were probably
song
happy.
that's coming. And no, I didn't make them listen to this, but I cranked it. I cranked it in the car all fucking week though.
You should have turned it on their shop radio and said, "Hey guys,
there
too
you
bad."
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Being a pussy.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this album.
It's Chateau Nebby. This is probably my favorite release by these guys. I would put Perseverance right there with it. And to me, this is the best. How should I put it? Much like Seasons in the Abyss, this is the best, where it's got a blend of all the different things that the band does.
You're kind of right on that.
Yeah,
I kind of see where you're going on that. It's like, it was my favorite for a long time, like I said, but I think Spiritual Healing might be my favorite overall, like as songs, but Leprosy and Symbolic are right. I mean, they're right there, and then all their albums are they're all
Yeah.
in that fucking region.
Dude,
They're all great.
And so
Good
it was
record.
funny. I listened to this all week, and then today on my way home from work, I'm like, oh, I want to hear. I got Human. Let's listen to Human. And then all of a sudden, then I was in love with that album.
That's a
too.
great
I'm
one,
like,
too.
fuck. I just can't
That
get
one's
enough,
rose up
man.
the ratings for me.
Yeah,
Human. I've been
Yeah.
listening to that one. That's one I've been listening to more often
Yeah.
in the later years.
yeah. You can't go wrong with this release, guys. Death Symbolic, probably one of the greatest albums to help push the death metal genre, I guess is the best way
And
to
a lot
put
of people
that.
don't even consider this album a death metal album.
You know,
Which
at this point,
technically you could be right.
I don't necessarily consider it a death metal album, but it did start the death metal, you know, the band,
Death
you know.
started death metal, but like I
But
know
this is-
technically at this point in 2026, this might not be considered a death metal
No,
record.
absolutely not.
But overall, like it's still death. It's still a death metal record.
Yeah.
To me, it's just they really helped the evolution of the genre. So
Yeah,
it can
absolutely.
say it's not death metal, but they helped expand the genre. So to me, it is a death metal record.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, if you put AC/DC out with him singing over it, I'd still call it death metal. You know what I'm saying? It's just, to me, it's the vibe of it and the vocals that go with it.
See, and his vocals don't see when I think of death metal, I think of like Glenn Benton or fucking Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, more guttural.
You know,
He's higher pitched,
You know.
but it's the same technique.
but like, yeah.
You know, he's two
Cannibal.
octaves above Glenn
Right.
Benton, but still.
right?
He had Chris Barnes doing that same stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, the vocals on like the later albums are a little bit more black metal-ish, kind of with a little
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the higher
yeah.
pitched a little bit. Not to that extreme, but it's pushing that limit a little more. I prefer the vocals on like the first three albums is my favorite Chuck
Yeah.
vocals. Like if you put those vocals on the Symbolic album, it might push it to my favorite. You know, I don't know, but whatever. Every Death album fucking is awesome.
Yeah,
so.
every one of them's
Whatever.
fucking killer. So
All right, now, since you've all talked about the Death albums, thoughts on Control Denied?
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. I mean, I like it.
Musically, do you think it stands up to Death? Not vocally, musically.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, it's like you can tell it's where it sounds of Perseverance and where that left off. It's in that.
Right.
It's
Right.
in that.
It kind of keeps making that same evolution,
Right.
You know, where
Right.
you know,
Which I
this
prefer,
album
like,
is,
the earlier
is
Death,
different than that album. That you know,
Right.
I'll be honest with you, that Control Denied album, I have never sat and listened to the whole thing.
I own the album and I've listened to it several times, but
Have ya?
it doesn't grab me though. It's not like
Right.
an album that I don't love it. Like I said, I like it, but I don't love it.
Yeah,
He just wants the mo of it.
But who knows where they might have gone, you know, or
Right.
after that. We don't know. He died too fucking young.
yeah,
So we just never know.
absolutely.
But he did leave his fucking thumbprint
He left
on
it.
metal, death metal,
He did.
obviously. Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking legend. Pioneer. Yeah. What
That's
more
for
can be
sure.
said?
Plenty. Keep talking.
The land
I
of
wanted to
plenty.
go over and look at something.
But yeah, man, so I'm the only one that got to see him live out of you guys.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah,
to see them,
I
but
didn't-
he
I never
died
got to see him.
too early for
I
us
just
to
thought,
really get a
honestly,
chance to
I
check
thought-
him out on a later show.
That I guess I thought maybe by Symbolic you were with me at that
No,
show.
because Symbolic, I got into them on Symbolic, really.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard them before this, but it didn't really, like, I wasn't really ready for it, I guess.
Right.
But then later on, I came back to it once I got into Symbolic, because I just thought Symbolic was brilliant. So
is.
it led me to listen to all that old stuff again after
Right.
I'd heard it years before that, and kind of had a new appreciation for it.
Right. Well, like I said, like some individual thought patterns was like that for me because I seen him on that tour also. So I'd gotten into him, you know. When
I just remember
seen
having
them, and then by Symbolic, I was super into them, and I'd already knew all their back catalog. But Yeah. So.
I just remember having a copy of this on a blank tape because I used to put tapes in my truck back in the day, and I'd keep my CDs at home.
I did the same.
So that way, if nothing happened to the CD, I
did
could
the
always
same. And
make
I had a
another
tape
copy
deck
of
in
the
my
cassette.
car, so I only didn't have a CD player in my car. So.
Well, but my point was I had the cassette on a TDK or something where it was a 90-minute, and I would put this on one side and I had on the other side was Burn My Eyes. So I would just let that whole thing play, and it would just go on loop one after another, back and forth from one side to the other. And, those are two seminal records that are just amazing.
Well, yeah, two great records.
And they came out very close to each other.
So when I seen Death like the first time, when I first got into him, like I said, it was like really individual thought patterns. Like I'd heard Death before, but then after that I got into like Napalm Death, Carcass, Morbid Angel, Obituary, Deicide, Entombed, Unleashed, all these bands.
Gorguts.
And so like Death was kind of like, oh, they were kind of the older, Then I went and seen him my first club show at Club 367 with Gorefest and stuff. And that's, like I said, that's when I got into him. But the reason why I kind of overlooked him back then is because I knew they were the older guys, and then I started getting into all the Carcass and all these other bands, Cannibal Corpse and whatever. And it just kind of, I don't know. I don't know why. I just kind of went past them then until I went and seen them.
Yeah.
And then when I went and seen them, I got the tape, and then it's kind of just, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of odd.
Yeah. See, I got into him because of Steve, our guitar player in Fatality. He was a huge Death fan, all the way from Scream Bloody Gore, and he Individual Thought Patterns and Symbolic, like I said, it had a lot to do with how he was writing guitar riffs and how I was writing my bass lines, and especially how I was writing lyrics. We weren't trying to be Death, we were trying to be our own thing, but there you can definitely see their influence on our music.
Right.
So
I could see that listening.
Yeah.
Thinking about
Oh yeah,
I
I remember when you guys were putting those demos out and stuff back in the day that I could hear a little bit of Death in there, and I could hear some Cannibal. You
Yeah.
guys had a nice little mix of your influences on your sleeves.
I could even hear a little Slayer in there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You guys were kind of a death metal band, but you were kind of a death thrash band, really. You guys
Right. Yeah, a lot of our stuff, because we were all big thrash heads, all four of us. We were all big into thrash metal.
Well, when you got Derek in the band and changed your name to Heavy Ground, you guys got more.
That's when I
death
got
metal,
more
but,
death metal.
But the Fatality stuff, I feel like there was some thrash in there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with Mikey singing. So, but yeah, hell yeah.
Now, did you do much vocals back then?
No, not really. Occasionally we'd do a Slayer song or something, but
I do remember that. You guys
I didn't do a whole lot.
I just didn't know if you helped out with some stuff in the background.
So there were some times, like at one time, and I'm not afraid to admit this. I was not pulling my weight, and they ended up kicking me out of the band. And they replaced me with a guy that was a good friend of ours that we grew up with. And, I was a little butthurt about it, but, it was what it was. It was my fault. I couldn't blame it on anybody but myself. And I actually went back and was doing vocals and stuff, just messing around with them, and there were several people who were like, maybe you ought to be the singer for this band. I'm like, nah, I don't want to. I don't want to go there, because I don't
so
know.
When was
that was right before we got Derek, because what ended up happening.
You were out of the band for how long were you?
I was out of the band for a few months. They replaced me with a friend of ours, Jerry, and
I know Jerry Markham.
Jerry Markham, and he was in the band for a while,
right?
Yeah, and he wrote some songs with them, and then I'll be honest with you, I really don't know exactly what happened there, but he ended up leaving the band, and I came back in, and
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I think Corrosive by that point had already moved out to Phoenix and back.
Yeah, they had already broke up at that point.
Oh, had they already?
And
Yeah, because they moved out there with big dreams, and
So-
I think came back and was like,
So I seen Corrosive. I was going to 367. You might have been with me. I don't really remember, to see Cancer.
no, it was Testament.
No. Well, hear me out. I went to see Cancer, and then Cancer, something with their passports or something, they couldn't get, whatever. And Corrosive was opening the show, so Cancer never showed up, so Corrosive just played it, a couple hours or whatever.
That's
I remember
cool.
They played like Troops of Doom, and they played some covers, but then they, whatever. And that was my first time seeing. Then they were supposed to open for
Testament
at
on the low
367
on the low record.
tour.
Right.
And then something happened where they already had their openers, and they didn't let them on the show, and they were trying to get people to don't go.
It was funny.
Testament. I was like,
800
I'm gonna go see
people.
Testament.
There was like 800 people at 367 to see Testament, and people are lined up out the door waiting to get in, and they're all butthurt, going, "Well, you guys might as well go home. Corrosive isn't playing."
I'm like,
And we're all looking at it like, "What?"
I'm like, oh man, that sucks, but I'm gonna here to see Testament. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see Testament.
Right.
I mean, it's not that I didn't like
That's
Corrosive.
funny.
It was more of like,
Funny.
I spent my $30 to see Testament,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But, yeah,
I could see
those were the
Corrosive for
days.
$8 all day long.
but yeah, I seen Corrosive
It's funny.
against
Like
Cancer.
I think it was last year before last. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was longer ago than that. Jerry had put up a thing that they had reissued Corrosive's last album,
Oh shit, I'd like to get a hold of that.
and
I'm friends with him on Facebook.
So am I.
they put it out for sale or something.
I
Or
used
it
to
was
have their CD. I don't know what happened to it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of my cassette all my cassette demos ended up gone with my divorce, and
Right.
that's
Right.
another fucking Maury Povich. But all my cassette demos, and then I had some of the CDs. I had the old Corrosive album
Yeah.
back in the day, but I don't know what happened to it.
Right.
I would love to get a copy of that.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I just saw that Harry got Uncontrollable Hatred put out on Cabal distribution.
Yeah. Well, I did, but
Oh, that was you that did that. I thought Harry had done
yeah,
that.
but yeah. It's he put a post about it too.
Oh, okay. That's. I just
basically
assumed
still
he was
getting
the one that did it.
Yeah, but it's still getting the word out there. It's
Yeah.
just
Hell
trying to-
yeah.
Whatever. It's just
That's fucking cool, though. That's fucking cool. I mean, it'll give people a way to buy.
yeah. To buy
There any hopes of ever making a vinyl of that?
Actually,
that would
they do. You can. I'm looking into getting my own copy, but you can get them. He's trying to figure out something. I forgot what he sent me the message.
That'd be a cool thing to
get them
have.
cheaper because they're kind of pricey right now
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the way he has to go. But I'm going to get one for myself just to have. And if
Right,
you guys
absolutely.
want to let me know, and I can get one for all of us.
Yeah, I definitely
mean,
want to
you know,
have
I
think
a
it'd be
pressing.
cool.
I might just get Harry one just because.
Yeah,
If we order
absolutely.
one. I might just order one for everybody.
I'd probably order 2 and keep one sealed just for my own reference.
Whatever, but we can always order more.
I don't even have a
Yeah,
record player,
they're,
but
I haven't received mine. He's supposed to give me 20 copies. I should be receiving in the mail soon, and then he should have it, with his Cabal, like the ads or whatever.
yeah, that's cool,
But
dude.
yeah, there'll be a way you can order vinyl.
I'm curious
Very
to hear the remastering that they're going to do on it,
Yeah, I don't know.
and also where they got the actual original copy from it.
Well, they might not have to because, Ken Nardi from Anna Crucis does some shit on his computer with all the old Kiss, and there's ways to do that shit now, and it's fucking amazing. Ken Nardi from.
Yeah,
we talked
yeah.
about this when we had John
Yeah,
Emery on
yep.
here, dude. He's doing shit that's like fucking epic. Really, he's like remixing these old Kiss records from back in the day with all this.
Don't
I
let
don't know.
He's
Gene
using
find
AI
out
to do
about.
it.
It's still pretty fucking awesome. when
Don't
you
let
do
fucking
it.
Gene
Well,
find out
he's-
about that.
Yeah, I hate AI, but what he's
Yeah,
doing is
yeah.
awesome.
Well, if Gene was smart, he'd hire him, but
Right.
that's a whole nother thing. And he was on Eddie Trunk talking about all that, so I've heard that
We
episode.
talked about that on the Anna Crucis, but that's
That's
cool.
cool.
Shit. So my point is, there's ways to do that shit now.
No, but you want to go back to the original source recording as best as
Yeah,
you
but
can.
think he's gonna do that? He don't have it. We don't have it.
I've got a copy of it. I've always had a copy of it.
And he never asked for it. So.
And
cool.
in fact, I've got it on a solid gold disc.
Solid gold dances.
I remember that
Solid
thing
gold
was not
dances.
cheap,
Solid gold.
but I got it straight off the
Train.
Too Relaxed recording console on purpose. That way it's as close to the original pressing as we can get.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
That's cool.
Death.
Well, right on, peoples.
Deaf.
Blah blah.
All righty,
Death.
folks. So
Symbolic.
go out and buy it. And
Greatest
then
album of all
homework?
time.
Shit. Quit being a fucking
Arguably.
pussy and go buy this shit.
Quit being a pussy
Homework.
and fucking
Buy
go
a physical
buy it.
copy. Quit being a fucking puss. Go to the record store.
I don't have
No
a
digital
record store.
download.
I don't have a record store anymore.
They don't have. There's no record store in Rolla.
No. I hit
No place to
Walmart.
sell records.
Walmart.
Dude, Centralia has a place to buy records.
It's hilarious.
Mount Vernon has a place to buy records.
pawn shop.
Yeah. The
Hey,
Silver Age Collectibles.
this will butter your muffin.
That too.
I bought a digital copy of Fun Gone Wrong.
Ooh.
Shake his head. But you know what? Wadley,
Well, I mean, it's hard to
Wadley
find
sent
a
me a
physical
physical copy, so
Yeah, I need to.
I have a physical one too.
I have one, but it's all fucking
get
sun faded. And,
physical.
yeah, it's whatever.
yeah.
I almost bought one off eBay, but it was too expensive. I'm like, I ain't paying that for my
Paying
own
for
fucking
my own
CD.
shit.
But anyway,
Well, I'll
that's
hold on to
another-
mine.
Whatever. It'll be worth something someday.
Yeah.
What'd you buy it for?
I didn't.
$1.25 pop.
Wadley sent it to me.
So it's free. It'll be worth. It, could at least
It will
$2
be
at
worth
some
at
point.
least twice that.
Yeah,
The shipping alone's going to double that price.
it's gonna be worth the shipping.
Nah, it's a killer album.
Anyway.
That's another one. If you can find it, go out and get Fun Gone Wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to get out of here. Death, Symbolic.
Homework.
What is your homework?
Next week, folks, we're going to do Machine Head, Through the Ashes of Empires.
Oh, Machine Head.
Machine Head,
And I'll
man.
tell you what I think about that next week.
Yep.
Tune in, same
Got a lot
bat
to say
time,
about
same
that album.
bat channel.
But I'll tell you next week.
Yeah. You know how to keep an asshole in suspense? Have a good night, folks.
That depends.
That's it for us tonight. You guys stay cool. Stay metal. Later.
Let us.
It's all about that. I'm a Satan dog.
Let us.
Politicians do a crack in the street. Waking with disease in the human race. Falling in the damage, we're born to hate, for heaven to inside. Vision to blame, common sense is acting.